Welcome back to another episode of Diabetes 180 with Louis Burtis, your physician assistant and diabetes reversal health coach. Today we're asking the hard question: if I lose my mind, is it my fault? We're discussing dementia and specifically what foods you should increase and foods you should avoid to prevent getting dementia in old age. Now, dementia is something that we're all familiar with and should be afraid of. It's a disease that plagues people all over the world. I can't think of a condition that's more devastating. Just imagining a person losing memory of themselves, losing memory of the people around them, the ones they love, the fear, the loneliness, the aggression and anger that comes from this diagnosis is financially burdensome, emotionally burdensome, and physically burdensome. Really can't think of something worse. We specialize in diabetes on this channel, but what's beautiful is that the same lifestyle and prevention recommendations I give to people for diabetes prevention and reversal is very similar to dementia. So let's go into foods that we should avoid and foods that we should increase to stave our risk, keep back our risk of getting dementia. First off, I think it's really sad that so many people believe that dementia is something that we're all just going to have when we get older. Whether you're talking about people who are medical personnel, doctors, nurses, or non-medical personnel, many people, if you ask them, they just feel like dementia is something you're just going to get eventually. You really can't help it. But I would like to present the Nigerian paradox, okay? So yes, there are genetic factors that increase your risk of developing dementia, especially when it comes to Alzheimer's disease. One of those genes is ApoE4 gene. This ApoE4 gene is a gene that's been isolated and known to increase your risk of dementia significantly, so that those who have it are very high risks of developing dementia. The way it works is those with ApoE4 gene, they have a higher risk of elevated cholesterol levels, and this in turn increases the risk of developing dementia. However, Nigerians are known to have very high occurrence of this gene, or actually high levels of ApoE4 in their body. And even though this is the case for Nigerians, people in Nigeria have the lowest rates of dementia. So you should be scratching your head here like, well, if they have some of the highest levels of ApoE4 gene in their bodies, then why are they walking around with the lowest rates of dementia when compared to other nationalities? So it's very simple. I don't think it's a paradox at all. See, yeah, genes load the gun, but lifestyle pulls the trigger. Nigerians eat a very plant-forward diet that's low in animal fat, the opposite of an American style diet or American way of eating. So even though they have a gene that puts them at a higher predisposition for Alzheimer's, they have the lowest rates of Alzheimer's because of their lifestyle. So there are things we can do to lower our risk and chances of developing dementia, even if you are at a higher risk factor because of your genetic pool. Okay, so what do we need to avoid? First off, understanding that dementia, or Alzheimer's dementia specifically, because there are different types. Alzheimer's dementia is now being referred to as type 3 diabetes. Okay, the reason that is because we now understand that the same thing that causes type 2 diabetes, that is insulin resistance, also is linked to Alzheimer's disease. Insulin resistance in the brain is Alzheimer's disease, where insulin resistance in the body is diabetes. And the diet that reverses insulin resistance, we talk about it all the time on this channel, is a low-fat, whole food, plant-based diet. So by eliminating animal foods that are high in saturated fat, you're giving your body the chance to reverse insulin resistance and stave off dementia, to keep you sound in mind and memory. So first thing I'm going to say is eliminate animal-based foods. And studies have shown populations who limit or avoid meat, that includes chicken and fish, have the lowest rates of Alzheimer's dementia. Okay, so moving on from there are foods that we should increase in our diet. And it's easy to do when you're adopting a plant-forward diet. That is fiber. Understanding dementia, whether we're talking about the leading cause of dementia, Alzheimer's dementia, or the second leading cause of dementia, vascular dementia, it is caused by too much cholesterol in our blood ending up also into our brain, and which leads to the amyloid plaques and the diminished blood flow to destroy and damage nerve cells. So when we have fiber in our diet, what fiber does is pull some of that cholesterol that would end up in our brain and make sure it ends up where it belongs, in the toilet, okay? So the more fiber we have in our diet, the less cholesterol that would otherwise end up in our brain causing dementia. So increase your consumption of fiber, which is found especially in all plant foods, but especially in legumes like chickpeas, lentils, kidney beans, black beans, and whole grains like brown rice, oatmeal, quinoa. Right? So increase your consumption of fiber. What else can we increase to decrease our chances of developing dementia? Citrus fruits. Same idea. Citrus fruits help us to have good, healthy blood flow, especially to our brain, where it's most important, right? A very high demanding organ when it comes to oxygen and healthy blood flow is the brain. So citrus fruits, those who have a lot of citrus fruits in their diet, research shows, have the lowest rates of stroke. Stroke happens when there's diminished blood flow to certain areas of your brain, leading to the death of nerve cells, brain tissue. And this happens, of course, in a major way where someone has a major stroke and leads to paralysis, or what's called silent strokes, which is basically a stroke that happens with no symptoms, right? And you can have many strokes or silent strokes all through your life, damaging parts of your brain, especially the memory center, which eventually leads to dementia in older age. Okay. The next thing you want to increase to lower your risk of dementia is antioxidant-rich foods. Foods that are richest in antioxidants are your dark green leafy vegetables and your brightly colored berries, okay? Which makes sense because it's the color in the food that actually indicates its level of antioxidant power, okay? So those brightly colored berries and dark leafy greens are rich in antioxidant power. What happens throughout life as we get older, right, in our brain ages, we are exposed to a lot of oxidative stress. Free radical damage leads to the destruction of nerve cells, right? There's actually a term for it that's quite sobering. It's called brain rusting. Your brain rusts over time, and antioxidants help to prevent and also reverse some of that brain rust. So if you don't want your brain to rust, eat a lot of berries and dark green leafy vegetables. What else can we increase in our diet to stave off dementia? Nuts and seeds. Nuts and seeds help us in many ways because they're not only rich in antioxidant and anti-inflammation power, but they're also able to pull some of that bad cholesterol out of the body. Omega-3 fatty acids are a healthy fat that increases HDL. HDL is responsible for removing the bad cholesterol, LDL, from the body. So by increasing your consumption of nuts and seeds, you are removing that cholesterol that would otherwise end up in your brain and leading to increased rates of dementia. So that's what you got to do. Get rid of animal-based foods because they are high in fat that will end up increasing your risk of dementia. Increase your consumption of fiber. Add citrus fruits to your daily regimen, as well as fruits, berries, and dark green leafy vegetables, and nuts and seeds. If you want to keep a sound mind and keep dementia away, follow this advice. For more advice and tips, make sure you like and subscribe on the button below, and you'll continue getting updates as we guide you towards better health. Beloved, I pray above all things that you may prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prospers. See you next week.